Ronnie Rantz and Tommy Krysan being brought to you each and every week, of course, by LeBear's Casino. And also today, TK joining us from Court Street Cafe over in Port Allen. Don't forget Sports Choice Jelly, presented by LeBear's Casino in Baton Rouge. Great place to go, of course, to watch all the college and pro football games this weekend, the Stadium Sports Bar, and then also by GameCoin, buy the crypto at thegamecoin.net. You can check out for more information. Get on board GameCoin. They gave a $100,000 check to South Lafourche High School, I believe it was, that was devastated by the storm. And then giving out many charity donations as well. All right, TK. So this weekend coming up, the LSU Tigers, who covered last week, they're now 1-2 this year covering against the spread. They find themselves a 2.5-point favorite against the Bulldogs in Starkville. I imagine if Mississippi State had not gotten that blown call by the officials, the Bulldogs might be the favorite this week at home against LSU. But your initial halfway through the week take on the Tigers coming up against Mississippi State?
Well, Ronnie, it's been a little hard to get a feel for this game. The vibes or whatever. A lot of one moment I'm thinking, LSU's going to cover that spread, and then the next moment I'm thinking, Mike Leach is going to throw the ball. They might not cover the spread. And then last night I was talking with some guys, and somebody goes, "Man, can you believe that over and under is 56?" And I went, "Whoa, I didn't even see that." Wow, that number seems a little bit low. 28, and you're going to be heading over. You would think that, they're going to score some points. But one of the CBS computer models predicted LSU to win 19-16. So obviously that doesn't go over. But I'm having a little trouble getting the vibe for it. I know Coach O is going to speak today in the SEC Weekly Coaches Teleconference. See what he says. Not going to say much, but I want to see what Leach says. And then, Saturday morning, game will be on here at Court Street Cafe, 11 o'clock. You can come check it out here if you want. I'm having trouble figuring it out. I don't know which way I like at this moment.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to revert back to the way I got burnt at the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, we put a lot of credit in the fact that we thought this LSU team had changed from a year ago. We thought, they've got all these older players and these returning offensive linemen, and they learned from a year ago. And last year, we gave them all these excuses last year with COVID and, social issues and the stops and starts of the season and the hangover from the national championship and players going pro or sitting out or whatever. We had all these excuses, and I got caught up in it. I underestimated Chip Kelly, how great of an offensive play caller he is. I underestimated being on the road all week in Houston and traveling to the West Coast and no band and all that stuff. And LSU laid an egg in week one. So that said, I am not going to change what my eyes have seen and what I've seen for the last year plus now. And that is the defense continues to blow assignments. It doesn't make it okay when you say, well, they dominated if it wasn't for those 2 or 3 blown assignments, where guys are literally running wide ass open into the end zone because somebody doesn't know how to line up right or somebody doesn't know how to communicate the defense right to a teammate. These things continue to happen. Therefore, why would they stop this week? Hopefully it does, but this week I'm going to stick with what we saw last year. We saw a Mike Leach offense come into Tiger Stadium a year ago with a quarterback who lost his job 3 weeks later and hang over 600 yards of offense against LSU. That same guy still calling plays. He's got similar players. LSU's continuing to have issues like we saw in week one with the middle of the field and crossing routes and lack of communication. So 2 things are the takeaway. Until it happens, I'm not going to believe, and that is, 1, I like the over-under, Tommy. I like the over. It seems low. I'm sure it's a sucker bet. But, man, how we think this game is going to be 55. And I know the computer models. I know all that, and I'm blocking out all that noise. All I'm seeing is LSU continuing to have 3-4 plays a game where they just straight up blow a coverage, don't know where they're supposed to be. We continue to see on Mississippi State side, same offense, same play caller. So therefore, forget the -2.5. I really like the over-under. And I know it's low, and that's probably baiting me, but I'm going to take the bait.
Well, yeah, and it's going to be a whiteout game in Starkville. Everybody in the stands will be white, and of course we're going to have that cowbell junk. I mean, it drives me crazy, but it's what they do. And even though that's not one of the bigger stadiums in the SEC, it gets loud because of the cowbells, and the fans are maybe a notch louder than some fans. But yeah, I'm agreeing with what you said. You got Mike Leach calling the plays, the air raid offense that he and Hal Mumme started decades ago, and threw for over 600 yards against LSU last year. Now, there's different players, different coaches involved, but Mike Leach is still there, and he's still got the air raid offense. I'm going to go with you, and I'm going to lean heavily to the over 56 in this game. And after listening to you, you might have to take State to 2.5 points. I mean, 2.5, the odds of the game being a 1 point or 2 point game, slim and none. But, so it's almost like a picket if you want to get down to it to win the game. And if it goes to overtime, somebody's covering or somebody hitting. So, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning Mississippi State after listening to the Ronnie Rant.
Well, it's not that I necessarily love Mississippi State as much as I just think I think why would things change so much than they did a year ago? And I think that's the problem. That's the problem that I have. I got burnt on week 1 of this season, and I thought that, things have changed so much, that this LSU team looks so different, and the offseason and coordinators and all these players back and additions. And we just automatically think because something ages a year, it becomes better. The only thing that does that is red wine. Nothing else does it. And so I don't know if Mississippi State or LSU is going to win per se in my mind. I haven't necessarily gone down that path of trying to figure that out. And I probably won't lay a wager on that one, but I will lay a wager and recommend people. And one of my picks this week, by the way, I went 3-1 last week. One of my picks this week will be LSU Mississippi State over on 56. Probably a sucker bet because it seems by first glance way too low, but I just can't get myself out of it. I'm not going to give LSU defense all this credit in the world beating up Central Michigan and McNeese and act like they've gotten it figured. We watched the game on Saturday, Tommy, and watched Central Michigan backside tight end, wide ass open and go 80 yards for a touchdown or whatever it was. I mean, these things continue. We watched them blow a coverage against McNeese and the guy run wide ass open at the end, and they score a garbage touchdown in the fourth quarter. These things continue to happen, and until they stop happening, I'm not going to be buying into it. Nookie saying, is KJ Costello starting? Let's hope not. I hope this is the last time we ever mention KJ Costello on this show because I went hook, line, and sinker thinking he was going to have a fantastic year. Why wouldn't you think he was going to have a great year, Tommy? The guy hung over 600 against LSU in Tiger Stadium last year.
And against DBU, I mean, what the heck's that?
All right, so let's talk a little Saints. The New Orleans Saints, they don't find – it's amazing what a difference a week makes. I mean, we thought the New Orleans Saints were going to be pushing the Tampa Bay Bucks. Or I don't know about we because I didn't, but the national pundits were talking about the Saints as, hey, these are the same old Saints. Doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. They're going to be contending for a Super Bowl. As old Lee Corso would say with his number 2 pencil, not so fast, my friend. What a difference a week makes. Now we're back to the drawing board with the Saints.
Well, Ronnie, I did a podcast yesterday, Talking Sports with TK, and I changed the name of the NFL. Okay, you ready for this? I changed it to NFRCL. NFRCL. And that stands for National Football Roller Coaster League. Because they go up and they go down. And I mean, it's always been a thing in the NFL, that team that plays really bad one week, they usually bounce back and vice versa. But this year, through 2 weeks, now there's a long way to go. It's been a roller coaster ride for the Saints and many other teams. 7 or 8 teams are 2-0. 7 of them are 0-2, and the rest of them are 1-1. And that's where the roller coaster is with the bulk of the team. So it's the National Football Roller Coaster League.
That's a good point. And that's also why, Tommy, again, you got to go with common sense, I think. And with the New Orleans Saints, I mean, losing Drew Brees, having salary cap issues, not having the depth at certain positions, not being able to go out and upgrade at certain positions, and kind of just having to hold steady and hope for Jameis Winston to right the ship after sitting on the bench for a year and fix the mistakes of his turnover issues. A lot of those are fingers crossed kind of deals. Week one is week one. I don't know how many times we've seen week one teams just not play that great. It's like it takes them a mulligan, or it takes them sometimes those super teams that, kind of mail in training camp to a certain extent, don't play a lot of their starters in training camp. Sometimes it takes that first week. And I think that's exactly what we saw. And then clearly after week two, I think we're back to where we thought we'd be. Green Bay's pretty good, and the Saints got some work to do.
Saints have some work to do, and of course they got to go to New England. That's tough. I mean, New England's not what they once were, but they still got Bill Belichick, and they got Mac Jones, and the offensive line doing really well for the Patriots. 3-point spread in that game. Another one very hard to get a feel for it. We've got a small sample size with 2 games for the Patriots, 2 games for the Saints, and the Saints are road warriors. The whole bit. I mean, it's hard to figure that one too, but I guess that's why it's tough. But when you got Sports Shorts Daily and Sports Shorts Radio and MeatandPotatoesUSA.com, you got to make a pick.
By the way, how cool is this? I know a number of people that are going to Boston for the game this weekend. Yankees at Red Sox Saturday at 3:00. And they're going to the game. Then they get to be done with that game, go find a Cheers bar somewhere to watch it'll be noon over there. So they get to watch the game at the Cheers bar or somewhere right around Fenway, and then walk in and when that game's over with at 4:00 and watch the Yankees and Red Sox. And then, what a great week. And then the next day, Saints and Patriots. I mean, what a great trip that's going to be. And I've got a number of friends that are going up there and definitely wish I was one of them for sure. Are you buying Mac Jones, by the way?
I'm buying the fact that Belichick's buying him. I'm buying the fact that Belichick's buying him, and Belichick thinks that gives the Patriots the best chance to win. So yeah, I'm going to buy it because of that. And I've read some things where he's been quite impressive, not flashy, but impressive. And the important thing, he takes care of the football. He's not going to turn it over. He's not going to screw it up. He's going to keep it between the lines, and that's what Bill Belichick wants anyway. And the Patriots, I mean, we can't name 5 guys on the roster. You used to could name 20 guys on the Patriots roster. So it's going to be the Saints really need to try to get that win so that when they come back home the following week, maybe the dome can be rocking, provided they put the fire out on the roof at the dome, But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to figure it, but I'm buying Mac Jones right now.
Speaking of the roof, talk to me a little bit about the roof.
The roof, it's on fire, Ronnie. The roof on fire. Well, a friend of mine that works in radio in New Orleans, David DeCorbier, he produced many shows when I filled in for Eric Asher. He put up a post yesterday. He said, I think the dome's on fire. And he was doing like the selfie, video thing off of his phone, and you could see the smoke behind it. That's how I found. Then all of a sudden, everybody had it, but some kind of pressure washing thing. They were cleaning the roof, which was dirty as could be, and something caught fire. One person was injured, and apparently it's taken care of, and there's no structural damage to the dome, and it's not going to affect any upcoming events. So, but it was there. You see that big old, the pillar of black smoke going up into the sky. I thought we were going to get a new pope named or something.
I mean, everybody kept sending out that video with the whole, Saints have elected a new starting quarterback. It's white smoke, Tommy.
I know.
It's white, not dark. Dark is when they haven't picked the Pope. White is when they have. And there was never any white smoke. So people need to get their memes correct on that. But I mean, fortunately, it was unbelievable. There was some video and some pictures and all that was shown of the gutter around the top of the dome. Look, from the ground and we look up, we think it's this lip, but then, it's giant. These guys are standing in this gutter. This gutter is, 30 feet tall or whatever it is. These guys look tiny inside that gutter, but It's going to look ugly, but and they may close off a section or something on the or some sort of maybe some seats possibly or something on the inside could be affected, or a concession stand or something could be affected up in the terrace. But the Saints will get this game going. It's just, I mean, the city of New Orleans. I mean, we've had the collapse of the hotel, of the Hard Rock. And then we've got this fire that, of course, no one was injured, thank goodness. And but it's a black eye. And then, of course, everything that's going down with the hurricane and the issues with the city with COVID and the mayor and closing down everything, and the tourism is on the tanker. I mean, like, think of all the money that city. I mean, restaurants and businesses that have been open for 50 years, 70 years are closing left and right. I mean, New Orleans is taking it on the chin, and this is just kind of a reminder.
Well, Ronnie, I grew up in New Orleans, Chalmette to be exact. Spent a lot of time in the Quarter. Used to work in the French Quarter at Pat O'Brien. So it was once the greatest city on earth, or one of the greatest cities on earth, and now it's far, far from that.
It is going to be exciting nonetheless when they come in there the first weekend in October and for that first home game. Let's just hope that the Saints can play decent enough between now and then to where they don't have just that one win and 3 losses into it. But all right, so New England and Saints. What was?
I'll have something for you on a Friday.
Okay.
Patriots are 3-point favorite.
Yeah.
We'll get some vibes by Friday.
All right. Yeah, I'm not feeling really good. It goes back to the same thing I said about Mississippi State and LSU. Let's not overthink it. Let's not. We going into the season, everybody in the world was around 500, and the question was 500 or over or under by a game or two. Obviously, Jab Step Joel Davis on Sports Church Radio likes the over. He and I have a bet: if the Saints win 10 or more games, he wins. If the Saints win 8 or fewer games, I win. 9 is the push. It's a friendly bet. But the bottom line is that let's not overthink it, and let's not just take one game and make a snap judgment. We knew this team had some challenges. We knew what those challenges were. We knew where the question marks were. Yes, game 1, it all fell into place, and Aaron Rodgers seemed like he didn't want to be there. He was uninterested in Jacksonville, and the Saints were able to take advantage of it. Jameis Winston was able to take advantage of it, some short touchdown passes, minus the one long threw for about $150. We all thought we ornated him the next Hall of Famer. And then reality set back in week 2. This game is a game that the New Orleans Saints, if they're going to win 10 games, Tommy, have got to win. You've got a rookie quarterback in Mac Jones. This New England in week 3, his 3rd ever start in the NFL. You've got Jameis Winston, who had one good one, really good one, and one bad, terrible one. You got to right the ship. We saw Aaron Rodgers and the Packers bounce back in week 2 and right the ship. That's what good NFL teams do. You don't go undefeated unless you're the Dolphins and the Patriots one time, twice in history. You're going to lose a couple of games. It's how you respond, and that's, to me, this. Don't want to put too much on week 3 of the season when you play 17 games, Tommy. But this team's going to take its lumps. This is one you got to win.
It is, and it is a long season. And, fans are great. One thing fans do, among the many things that fans do, is overreact. And you try to read between the lines, and you're going to assume what's going to happen in a 17-game season after 1 week, or in this case, 2 weeks. But sometimes you got to, stay in your lane and try to step back a minute and say, okay, let's see how this thing plays out in the long haul. And, of course, for the Saints, going on the road and getting a win against New England would be huge.
Clearly, Craig Schilling was distracted when we talked about the whole hope thing. Thanks for being late to the party, Craig. Nookie said, what are we reviewing on Sports Shorts After Dark? Loving the name, by the way. Sports Shorts Radio this Saturday will be 7 to 9 over at the Stadium
PM
Grill inside LeBear's Casino. One of the things we're going to review, Tommy, is the appetizers over at Stadium. There's a promotion that LeBear's is running right now. All you got to do is download the LeBear's Baton Rouge app on your phone and pull up the QR code. you get a free app with the purchase of any entree at not only Stadium, but Red Lotus as well, the outstanding Asian restaurant. So we'll be reviewing all those great appetizers that people can get for free through the month of September, by the way, all the way through the month of September. Bring in your LeBear's app and show that QR code for your free appetizer. So that's one of the things we'll be reviewing. No breakfast Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being out there Saturday night. Invited a few people last night to come on out and join us, and it's going to be a fun night, kind of a pseudo post-game show. We'll analyze LSU, Mississippi State, and we'll talk about the Saints, and I'm sure there'll be an upset or two in college football that we'll talk about as well.
Back in the day, you were a pretty decent golfer. I know you don't play as much as you used to, and you have. Talk to me about some Ryder Cup. We'll have Buzzy Heidel on Saturday, maybe, to break down the Ryder Cup, but give us your takeaway.
Well, it's USA versus Europe. I got the USA flag right behind me here at Court Street Cafe. Yeah, it's a huge thing in the world of golf. I know it plays second or even third fiddle to football right now. We get that, but it's a big thing. You're playing for your country, the red, white, and blue. You don't see a lot of team golf events, President's Cup, Ryder Cup, the two-man team thing in New Orleans. But, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to watch as much of it as I can. USA versus, Europe. They got all their uniforms were publicized yesterday, what they're going to wear. They all wear the same stuff. And, the feud between Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau apparently is not going to be an issue. I heard an interview this morning with DeChambeau, and it starts tomorrow. It's a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's at Whistling Straits up in Kohler, Wisconsin, which is a phenomenal, beautiful-looking golf course. It hosted the PGA a few years ago, I believe. Didn't you play that course, Ronnie?
I did. I played every single course up there. I played Whistling Straits when LSU went to go play Wisconsin. Also played the Irish course, which is attached to Whistling Straits, right next to it. A couple of years later, when just went on vacation. There's also 2 other courses that are a part of the same group right there in Kohler that are super tough right nearby. I played the Erin Hills right outside of Milwaukee, which housed the U.S. Open. Erin Hills was and by the way, Whistling Straits and Erin Hills, you walk them. You can't ride cart. You can ride a cart on these other courses, but Erin Hills is the hardest walking course I've ever done in my lifetime. I mean, you should get like a medal or a special badge for your bag just for surviving the walk. I mean, it was unbelievable. Whistling Straits, much more enjoyable. Right on Lake Michigan, and beautiful, beautiful course. Looking forward to it. No Tiger Woods, no Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson will be there as a co-captain, much like Tiger was the last time around. Tiger, by the way, or two times ago, whatever. Tiger, I'm sorry, the United States, they've lost 9 of the last 12 Ryder Cups, 5 of the last 6, I believe. They've got to get it together, man, and it's not going to be easy. Obviously, John Rahm probably the best player in the batch, and, but you got Justin Thomas and you got Jordan Spieth right on his heels. I know you said that the media, a lot of the media that follows golf, has picked the USA to win this one.
They have the golf writers nationally and internationally, because Europe's involved, think the USA on paper has the better team. Of course, they'll have to get out on the course and play it. Hey, I'm pulling for the USA. Okay, we just had the Olympics this summer, red, white, and blue USA. Let's see if they can get it done.
Let's see if Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka can get along. That may go a long way.
Well, I think they're gonna. They supposedly had dinner together, and and they, according to DeChambeau, it's more of a social media thing than real. But there's been some shots fired between those two, verbally and on social media. So that's going to be one of the side stories of the Ryder Cup. But let's see if the USA can't, get in the winning get into the winning mode and get the Ryder Cup and put it back with the red, white, and blue.
Sheboygan, Wisconsin. That's where the course is. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday. One of the more fun events, man, every 2 years.
Well, my parents are from about 30 minutes from there, Manitowoc, right. Wisconsin. Both my parents were on Lake Michigan, just a slight bit north of Sheboygan. So I've been in that those neck of the woods many times as a kid, summer vacation all the time. So I'm a little bit familiar with Milwaukee, Sheboygan, and Manitowoc, Green Bay. Spent a lot of time up there as a kid on summer vacation, seeing the grandparents and my cousins and aunts and uncles.
So how about this? This is pretty interesting. I don't know if you saw this headline: COVID envelope. It's the COVID envelope plan at the Ryder Cup. So this is what happens. There's a plan in place in the event a player contracts COVID-19 and is able to play in the singles Sunday at the Ryder Cup, and it's being called the COVID envelope. They follow the following Ryder Cup rules similar to those in case of an injury. Each captain before the Sunday singles pairings will secretly put the names of 3 of his players in an envelope in case someone from the other side is unable to play due to a positive COVID-19 test. That player or players would then be held out of singles play, and each side would be awarded a half point for that match. There are 12 singles matches on Sunday. I got an idea. How about this, Tommy? Don't test. There you go. No, won't
Common sense. Common sense.
Test.
I mean, I wish Buzzy was playing for the USA.
You think he'd be in the envelope?
Yeah, he'd be in the envelope. Buzz in the envelope. The 72-6 guy be in the envelope.
By the way,
he might be there Saturday night when we're doing Sports Shorts Radio.
I mean,
is that the room? Hunting season doesn't open until the next week. So
I mean, look, he's got no excuse, Tommy, but I'm sure he'll come up with a new one. Why he won't be? I know Derry Beckwith will be joining us, former LSU Tiger great.
What about Jab Step?
Player. Jab Step, who knows what's going on at Woodhaven? I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch. I know myself, you, and Derry Beckwith will be at LeBear's Casino this Saturday night, 7 to 9, for a late night edition of Sports Shorts Daily. Sports Shorts After Dark. We'll be calling it, thanks to Nookie.
That's a great name. Thanks, Nookie.
But as far as we'll have some other special guests to be determined on who they are, if it's Jab, Step, and Buzz, or if we go outside the box and bring in some.
We might have to go outside the box. I might come up with something.
He's Tommy. I'm Ronnie. Tell us about one last time before you go at Court Street Cafe.
Well, Court Street Cafe, they got the steak night tomorrow night, all you can eat fried fish on Friday. They're going to have the LSU game on Saturday morning, 11 o'clock kick on the SEC network. They'll have some specials going on. Always got lunch specials, dinner specials. Connect on Facebook and Instagram. Court Street Cafe, 805 Court Street in Port Allen, just 2 minutes over the bridge. Did not take me long to get here this morning, and that was, 8 o'clock traffic stuff. So, get on over here. They got, the weather has cooled down. They got a great patio out front. Had people sitting out there eating breakfast when I got here with this little cool snap. I don't know if it's cool, but it's not hot as it was. Court Street Cafe, again, connect on Facebook and Instagram, 805 Court Street in Port Allen, breakfast, lunch, dinner. You'll be glad you checked them out.
By the way, Tommy Krysan, the streak has ended after, 12 in a row? 11
I had 11 in a row. I was going for 12, and then I had the White Sox yesterday that didn't work, and so I missed it. So I got to start another streak, and we'll start one tonight. Got a pick for everybody tonight.
11-1 in his last 12, picking Major League Baseball bets, and then. So I gave you one after going 3-1 last week in football. I like LSU, Mississippi State. Take the over 56. We'll have a lot more picks for you on Friday. And if folks want to get your pick for tonight in Major League Baseball, how do they do so, Tommy?
The Oldest Dude on TikTok, or hit me up on social media. I'm also going to drop an LSU football update podcast later today. So connect with me, Tommy Krysan, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I'm the Oldest Dude on TikTok. I had somebody yell at me the other night at the ballpark. Said, "Hey, there's the Oldest Dude on TikTok." So it's sticking a little bit, Ronnie. I don't know.
It's going crazy.
Yeah, it's sticking around. But anyway, no. And again, Court Street Cafe, check them out.
Thanks to LeBear's Casino, also thegamecoin.net. We'll see you on Friday, 9 a.m. right here. Don't go anywhere. Sports Shorts Daily. We'll see you in a couple days.